Podcasting since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts Radio Network. KingofPodcasts.com.
Sounds like a new DVD title. Bonnie Blue, banned in Bali.
We're all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the King of Podcasts.
That's me. Welcome to the Prison Debaucherous. Another episode. We are less than a week and a half from Christmas Day. And for next week on the program, I want to just give a quick programming note that I have already set up an interview that I'm going to be playing for all of you next week on the program. And that is with Amanda Black. She represents the Solo Female Network, a global community which has over 600,000 members, females, of course, doing tours led by local, mostly female guides for various destinations. So I talked about solo female travel a couple of weeks ago on the program, and this is one of the guests that actually reached out to me and wanted to go ahead and follow up on what we talked about when it comes to solo female travel. And that might be something that some of the females in my audience will be interested in, so that you set up your travel plans for next year. And I don't know if there'll be anything else really to go bring up on Christmas week to do, but it's a new episode, and I will go ahead and play that back for you. My interview with Amanda Black on the Solo Female Network next week on the program. So look forward to that. Tonight we talk about Bonnie Blue. And for that, let's go and go to News 9 Australia that spoke with Bonnie Blue, and we learned the story about her being banned in Bali.
Back here in the UK, Bonnie Blue's disputing reports she's been banned from Bali for a decade after being deported from the holiday island.
Now, by the way, this is News 9 News Australia, and reporter is speaking exclusively with her as she arrived in the UK from her trip in Bali. So here's more.
The 26-year-old fined just $19 for flouting Bali's road rules with passengers in the back of a ute labelled the Bang Bus. Bonnie?
Yeah.
The Bang Bus in Bali. Do you regret it?
Definitely not, no.
You're banned for 10 years now from Bali. How do you feel about that?
That's a lie. I'm not. It's not 10 years.
What is it?
It's only 6 months. It is 6 months I'm banned for, and this is my letter.
The 26-year-old arrested last week on suspicion of breaking Indonesia's strict anti-pornography laws, but was later cleared. 14 faceless Australian men caught up in the Schooley scandal. Brisbane-based comedian Julian Woods also deported. Were you worried?
There's a few hours I was concerned, but aside from that, I know how to click a delete button, so I wasn't worried.
What were you doing when you were arrested?
I was filming a YouTube video.
And those 14 Aussies who were arrested, what were they doing with you?
Having fun, just like most people.
Bali, Fiji, Australia, the list of places you're now banned is growing.
It is.
Are you going to give up on schoolies?
Definitely not. I will be doing schoolies 2026 for sure.
The adult content creator says for the first 30 hours in custody, she was held in a police station cell in Bali. But once she was released to immigration authorities, she claims she was allowed to stay in five-star hotels and sunbake during the day. She says she's not scared to end up in a Bali prison cell and plans to return to the holiday island for schoolies next year.
There we go. Let's get into the story that actually happened with her. So the potential 10-year banishment. So she raided a rented studio and was detained along with another group of international travelers. Schoolies being that initial orientation week, the first week for college kids. I guess that's what it is. In this case, cameras, vehicles, and other equipment were seized, and it got media attention. Listen, she is a magnet for this kind of attention, which is why I started talking about her going back to this time last year. But before we had her, we had Lily Phillips, but that's where we were with this. And, I don't make it a deal to go and just talk about Bonnie Blue like I want. Like, it's like the one thing that comes up to mind. But I know that people are really attached to this woman. So we go along and talk about her pretty extensively on the program. And I know that by talking about her, she is controversial. And the controversy will lead even to my content where if I even try to put this up on TikTok, I'll get banned. I mean, that's the other problem. I'll risk doing that, and I'm not going to do that part. So this is like where certain TikTok videos I can't even put up because I was putting up Bonnie Blue and Andrew Tate content. Like, oh no, we're not going to do anything now. So when the police caught up to her in Indonesia, in Bali, Bonnie Blue and her group were playing a sex game where the winner, quote unquote, would sleep with Bonnie. No pornographic activities or acts have been found in the collaborative content, according to a Bali news outlet reporting this past Wednesday. Now, in this country, Indonesia, it's deeply religious. And if she would have been charged for it, she could have faced up to 15 years in prison and over $500,000 American if that happened. But she was fined for a traffic violation at $19 involving her infamous bang bus vehicle and was deported. So footage and photos showing the sex worker's unconventional conduct during legal proceedings, such as arriving at court laughing and interacting with spectators while sucking on a lollipop. Again, she is playing along and the crowd is taking into this. And talk about somebody who's able to go and really transcend various time zones, various continents to continuously be caught up in all this. So, I mean, look, they got cameras in the courtroom and you're seeing this is all kind of like just some speculation, just what's all happening here. This whole idea that everything could go bad to her, but it's publicity at the end of the day. And when she was asked about if she was worried about being stuck in Indonesia to face the charges, she says, "I'm rich, I have good lawyers. Do you really think I'd face jail time?" And then she told people she was excited to show people what got me into all this trouble and needed to recuperate her huge losses from the $20 fine. So listen, she got a full-fledged, she's having fun at everything. Just not caring. And it's funny like that. She can go with whatever she wants. And she's doing just fine as a result. Now, I want to see if I can go ahead and play back something from her where she talked about all this. That's unless Instagram will actually let me do something about this at all. I don't know if it will. But we'll find out in a moment if I can. And I am looking to see what I can go and find out about it. And here's one of the videos I could probably play out of this. Let me see here. Let's try this from Bali.
Son and this bedroom have got one thing in common. I've destroyed them both. Hey parents, your son and this bedroom.
Yeah, so that's just the constant content. So a little more that I can find from this. Let me see what else I can get from her talking about this, because she did a little bit of work about talking about dealing with the schoolies in Bali. Here's some of the party stuff. You're seeing, looks like tequila shots across the board. That's nice. And here's some more from Bonnie.
I currently have a big group of boys filling out the consent forms. So parents, if you recognise any of these shoes, I'm sorry, but your son is about to destroy me. Yes, you can.
So she's done a pretty good job of getting herself out there and getting noticed again. And it doesn't matter what she says. She's just become now so targeted that, I mean, it goes across whatever kind of opinion they have. Now, in the Bali trip, she was set up by the woman who organized her Bali tour, whom she paid $150,000 for the trip. This is according to the New York Post. And she says just before she went to her sentencing, she says that the girl that organized the whole trip for me, she was like, "Oh, I'll sort security, hotel, lawyer, flights, everything." There's that part. And then when it comes to what actually happened in Bali, she's been poking fun at her run in with the law. And there's been videos she's been putting up about her Bali escapades. First was this one.
Eat pizza with me before getting deported. Pizza looks a little bit anemic, but not going to complain. It's better than jail food.
Then you have get ready for me for trial. So she says that supposedly when she was going to have to go back to, I guess, the UK, she did get a first class trip to Bali, but the way back was much less glamorous. And said the police were obsessed with her and explained her side of the story a little more, that all she really cared about was the state of the jail she was thrown into, noting she wasn't allowed to do her skincare and there wasn't any clean water. Then she's getting her makeup done.
So annoying when they put a light above you because you just can't. Yeah. I really wanted to wear my schoolies t-shirt. Family have strongly said don't. Still gonna take it, see what my lawyer says.
Yeah, she's just completely having fun with all this. And, you know, now she's at the point where she's financially immune from anything that can happen to her. This is what this whole year has done for her. I forget how much she has actually made over the year. Actually, I did put something out where I talked about that. And that's where I put some stats out there. And I talked about this a few weeks ago on the program. Let me play back about what I talked about, the OnlyFans $25 billion gold rush. And I specifically talked about how much money Bonnie Blue and others have made. The real conversation starters, the ones that have been at the very top of the game that everybody's heard about because of OnlyFans. They might be basically the most mainstream characters we have. Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips. Now, they're OnlyFans creators originally from Britain, known for extreme challenge content using mass sexual encounters and often framed as record-breaking stunts. They've had headlines all this year centered on rivalry stemming from late 2024 collaboration Turning Sour and escalating one-upsmanship. And let's just look at what they've done this year. Lily Phillips is earning right now monthly on subscriptions and tips between $300,000 and $450,000. The annual estimate, $1.5 to $2 million. And her net worth, $3 to $3.5 million. Damn. Bonnie Blue, who would be in the higher end of this, monthly is earning $1 to $2.1 million, peaking after viral stunts. Her annual income right now, most likely $8 to $15 million if trends hold, but OnlyFans income, losing that might have been a part. And her net worth right now, $3 to $5 million, but there have been some estimates to say that she's made as much as $43 million. That's, with that kind of money, yeah, she can do whatever she wants. And there's nothing that's really being done about, you know, the fact that, okay, in these third world countries, like in Indonesia, somewhat, you know, yeah, there might be some issues where she is doing something wrong in that country, but money will talk over there. And then she also even did a video when she was getting herself ready, and this is right before she got arrested.
Get ready with me for a video. Yes, I am poorly. Wait, what's the concept of the video again?
Guess who hasn't slept with Bonnie Blue?
Yeah, I think tonight, I mean, I still don't feel great. I'm going to do pre-drinks and then go to maybe Old Man's or Make the Cola. I'll be taking my makeup with me because no doubt I'm going to be blowing my nose. Are we just saying this is Schoolies 2025? Because if we say this is Bali 2025, I literally incriminated myself. Yeah, but do they know not to maybe talk about Bali so much? Anyone else could get away with it because the Bali people aren't going to look at them. Anything I post, the lawyers and Bali people are looking at.
She knows what she's doing, and she's not afraid about what's going to happen to her at all. And when she started talking through it, she decided to go ahead and re-upload the video with a few more captions on there just to make sure she put out there that she was being aware of what she was saying and wanted to make sure that whatever she did was not going to ultimately penalize her while she was stuck there. And then she did some rage baiting about the embassy as she's on the way out.
Get ready with me to film some videos outside the Bali embassy and then take him back to our hotel room. Oh, this is the NARS Laguna Cream Bronzer. It's very dry and crusty. I need a new one. I woke up at 4 a.m, went for McDonald's breakfast, and then I fell back to sleep. I want to tie my hair up because I think it'll look better with my outfit Irma's has put out for me. Going back to the hotel room afterwards, I'd much prefer my hair to be down for that. I feel a bit double naked if I've got my hair up. Never met these guys before, so hopefully they're nice and they don't mind me getting those socials first. Sometimes I pay the people I work with, other times I don't. I won't pay them if they're getting the content afterwards, but if only I'm getting the content, then I pay them. Today I'm paying them because only I'm going to use the content. So it's if the content is basically just what I want as opposed to them, then it doesn't really make it fair, so then I pay them.
Bottom line is, she's going to make money off of all this. Doesn't make a difference. And then after all that's gone on for this year, Bonnie Blue now is talking about what she wants to go and do in a philanthropic manner. She wants to settle down on a farm with rabbits, cows, and fainting goats. That is what she's saying she has for her future plans. So she spoke with Kate Brooke on the No Filter podcast, and she said, at the moment, I'm keep thinking about having a farm, some cows. I'm so obsessed with fainting goats, rabbits. I like the idea of having loads of animals somewhere by the beach. But yeah, long-term, lots of animals, probably children, and I can imagine myself settling down. After all that, she wants to go and settle down. You know, listen, someone will actually go and buy into that. And it's amazing what we're hearing from it. But again, it's not surprising. Let's just go to the year that was Bonnie Blue and everything that she did that by far has gone into such a direction. Because it really has been quite a year. And yeah, I've done pretty good off of talking about her, I'll admit. So why not? And I have. Quite a bit of it. Let's go back into the 1,000-man sex stunt from earlier this year. Bonnie Blue's happy to risk getting HIV in the name of her job. I don't get what that's all a story about, but she actually said that, and I don't know what she's thinking, but okay.
First guy did go in raw.
Number 1 out of 1,057 went in raw. Like, I'm bent over. At this point, I had like 6 other guys like in front of me. Like, my hands are busy, my mouth's busy. And then I just turn around. I'm like, wait, you're not wrapped up. But yeah, I think like when you're in the moment from like the guy's perspective and they're getting excited, they just sort of forget, which is like completely normal. And most of them never usually wear condoms. So it's not like an instant, I'm about to go inside, let me wrap up.
Does anybody want to go ahead and talk to the other 1,056 guys that, first of all, she didn't care if she got HIV. She didn't care about wrapping up or protecting herself. What about all those guys? Did they sign up to get Hep 2 or Hep C or whatever? Like, do you think they were happy to go and know that they were going to probably catch something off of her because the first guy decided not to wrap? Like, that's the other problem too. How many of those guys that were not tested or might have had something on them, some kind of sexually transmitted disease, and would have left it in her, and the next guy that would have inserted would have gotten something off of that? Now, I have been thinking about the fact that I might have got myself caught up in the whole mess of what she was doing. I mean, I still think there's something about that 1,000-man sex stunt, which obviously is one of the episodes that did the most traction this year of the entire series, that got everybody all attention. And that really was the key that picked the lock on the career that she has had now. That was February 5th, I reported on that. And then we move along at the spring break where she went to Cancun. She went down to Cancun, sharing photos and videos of the party on her Instagram account. Dudes doing butt luges and drinking alcohol out of her ass, spitting into guys' mouths, and apparently scheduling a gangbang that presumably will be recorded for content. So there's a bunch that were out there. Yeah. And you see the stories here. You see the guys. Listen, I think some of the guys would just be like, the chick's here, whatever. Have fun. Do this stuff. Again, they're all drunk. They don't know any better. I don't think they would normally go and go for this girl in the first place, but they decided to anyway. And then we get inside what she was doing while she did this whole thing. So obviously this was the whole publicity stunt for her. She wanted to get some other things going on. The 25-year-old OnlyFans model went to film content for her OnlyFans page. And she's been filming explicit content with men as young as 18 years old. Now, she's already been banned from Australia and Fiji for doing similar stunts last year, according to the Daily Mail. And she has hosted a number of shocking activities planned for spring break. So spring break has already started, more or less. Early part of spring does happen, and then it goes all the way into April. But here's what we're going on. Starting in Cancun. And she said that, as we put out the very top, she was going to go and pay towards the college tuition of a spring breaker who gives her the best orgasm. There's that, and then there was more from spring break. Everybody wants to go and find out what is it now about the divorce from her husband. People want to go and ask that question. So she actually went on and talked about it. And she revealed the reason for her divorce from her husband and insists it has nothing to do with the 1,000-men sex stunt. So we'll go into that and play back why she said what she said. So she appeared on the Bad Friends podcast earlier this week, and she shared her relationship status with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee, the hosts, saying she was going through a divorce. And this Daily Mail article shows her younger pictures of what she looked like before when they first started dating. And she said she previously claimed she tied the knot with her high school boyfriend after meeting age 15. They moved to the Gold Coast shortly afterwards, where she met her in 95. And she claimed as well that it was her privately educated, long-eaten RFC rugby player husband who first encouraged her controversial career and gave her the confidence to enter the industry. Now, the word was that the pair were said to have separated after it was said that Ollie was furious after the OnlyFans star set a new world record with the guy she bedded within 12 hours. But in a later interview, Bonnie claimed Ollie was in fact very proud and supportive of her success. I almost forgot about the fact that she was also going through divorce as well at the same time all this was going on. So on OnlyFans, doing the stuff that she's doing where she's getting banned from Australia, Fiji, now Bali, all her schoolies sescapades, whatever it is, all that going on too. It's a lot. And then there was more because the backlash she got from appearing at Coachella at a party. So Bonnie spoke with DailyMail.com about her latest trip to the U.S. and says, quote, most men will expect to get laid on spring break. I think having an older woman in the mix who's up for it and keen to pleasure anyone over the age of 18 is positive for the women who don't want to be pestered. The guys are guaranteed to have a positive experience because I know what I'm doing. And she also told her social media followers she was excited to take so many virginities this year. That's the start of that. Look, it's her thing to go ahead and start making a point of going as far as she can to exploit girls like this OnlyFans model and use them. But it's all this publicity stunt kind of thing, which we used to see with porn stars on a regular basis. Like this was so common. But now these OnlyFans girls are realizing they can go and do this route. Look, it's obvious now that there are going to be some influencers that are going to go this route and be a little more privy to it. The question is that will there be enough women out there that will follow suit and try to go that route? Because now we're seeing the difference is that besides the 1,057 men that she gangbanged with, allegedly over 12 hours, it was these parties that she had that were all like controlled. And one of the things was that there was all this agenda that she was going to, obviously making content for her OnlyFans, content for social media that she make money off of that. As long as she has that, might as well go ahead and make a way to cash in on it. And that's what she's been doing. So Bonnie spoke with Daily Mail. Let's go on to more. And there's more from the Coachella chaos that she went through. And that time during spring break, Julia Filippo, who's associated with Camila Araujo, that was one of those areas where it was bringing in more women to kind of be brought into that whole circle of Bonnie Blue, into that feel of that porn stardom, that OnlyFans upper echelon where you're just going hypersexual or saying that you're doing hypersexual stunts just to get the attention. And for any girls that are watching this, because obviously you're not going to watch your OnlyFans content. This is all the content outside of OnlyFans, which is a gateway into making her lifestyle look glorified, look great. Like this is the ultimate influencer right here. Ultimate influencer where every girl will see, oh, look, young, pretty, and she's just having the fun of her life, and she's living it up, and she's living extravagantly and lavishly, and she's shopping, she's hanging out with guys, hanging out with gals, just being ultra flirty, ultra sexy, ultra ingratiating, and just being very cheeky. It's a level that women will never get to. But at the end of this, you have to admit that she has a bit of a charm about her, the way she kind of handles herself. The accent helps. And the way she presents herself, it's not overly dirty. She's not really giving us anything really explicit or vulgar language. She's just kind of playing that line right there. She's right. And it's amazing what she was able to go and do for herself, and also associating herself with the right people to get the attention that she wanted. And that was the other part that she really did quite a bit with and got a lot of attention from it. Then there was the interview she did in the middle of the year. By the way, that was all March and April, just to make that clear. But then we got to the part where we got into everything with her when it came to her interview with Andrew Tate and the back and forth they both had, which was also quite interesting as well. And like I said, if I'm playing this, it's the risk of putting it out there, because I did get caught up on this, and like people really got upset. I got TikTok almost banning me for playing what I played on here, which was quite interesting. But I did anyway, and I tried. And so I had a couple of clips I took from that particular interview they did together, which I still think holds really well. And I thought Bonnie Blue really presented herself quite well. Because of the construct of feminism, of women being told over and over that because of bad experiences, that maybe some of the older generations, of some of the family members that the women have encountered, of course, they're going to listen to someone that's more maternal, that might have gone through being a mother and having children and also going through marriage. And unfortunately, if their experiences are bad, they're going to pass on those bad experiences and give a bad slant to marriage. And that's not good. But it is something that's being done where, because of the choices that a woman might have made from an earlier point of feminism, we're seeing that whatever kind of thinking there has been for women that's been passed down to women is getting worse. Because we're getting less and less people married. We're seeing less and less men and women having children. Now, there's more to this. Let me go play a little bit more here, where we actually hear from Bonnie and Andrew.
A man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. Women complain that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared, and they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices.
That's an extreme take. But I will go and put a little more leniency into what he's saying. Now, I'll take it from here. Thank you, KLP. The thing is that when it comes to what we had as traditional domesticated relationships before, I'm not the kind of person that wants to go and have women just be barefoot and pregnant. I've never been like that. But the thing is that what's wrong with guys that just want to make things more comfortable for a woman? Make her feel safe, make her feel secure, make her feel loved, and make her feel like, she doesn't have to go ahead and do anything aside from, if she wants to work, she wants to do it for the sake of the kids or for just to build a better home together. But it doesn't have to be a career. And I think if we had something where relationships were built on that, where we don't want women to necessarily have to be in the career with some independent lifestyle, because when you are living like a modern independent woman, you're not wanting to have a man. You are making it where you're still living single and free and independent. And that's the part of feminism that has been brought up that we don't want to see in women. We still love women to be strong, but strength doesn't come from, what kind of career you have made for yourself or the kind of bank account you have or what you've accomplished in your life from a business standpoint. It's from your heart that matters. I just don't think it's that hard to go and take that extreme take from Andrew Tate and mold it into something much more pliable. I think you could find a way to get there. Because for me, I want to have it where women just feel like they can have their cake and eat it too. And it's not like, the word provide needs to mean something like it used to be. But that doesn't mean that we want to hold women back at all. Not even close. But we also don't want a woman to go have to strain herself or stress herself out trying to build a living that, if we're not being the breadwinner, if we're not carrying the bulk of the load, I don't expect a 50-50 split, but I want to make it where it's a contribution. There's part contributions that are more important for you to want to make the home and to be the mother. When you become a mother, that's very important. But to make it where your career has to supersede everything else, well, that's fine if you want to be staying single, but no, I want it to be something more for a woman. I think it was one of the things in that conversation that really did hold true.
See, women go around, use sex to their advantage, but then are happy to cry about it straight away, saying, oh, he took advantage of me. And it's like, you're the one that wanted to do sex to have like the job promotion, or you're the one that wanted to have sex to get more attention or try and be more liked, but then they cry about it. And that's what I get frustrated about. And even with porn stars, like people in my industry, they'll do this for a few years, get the money, get the boob jobs, get the house, and then suddenly they go, oh my God, I was forced into the industry. Oh my God, someone took all my money.
Have you ever considered a job as a lawyer? Because I could do with you.
See, great points there by Bonnie. Listen, that now women just don't want to have sex just to have sex. They now see the phases change. So the hoe phase, the freewheeling phase, go out and get out all your whore-like things, right? Before you decide to go ahead and settle down, right? Go sow your oats before you settle down. That used to be a thing. But now we're at the point where women have figured out a way to go ahead and extend it all the way through. So from going through the adventure phase to then being able to go ahead and be a victim and say, oh, I can't believe I did all this. And then they change themselves and become sanctimonious or hypocritical and decide to go ahead and say that they regret what they did, which is now such a new thing to be done. There's much more I could continue to go on about this, but I think that everything I need to say about Bonnie Blue this year, we're going to just close the chapter on it. We'll see what she does for next year. And I think I have learned a lot from her experiences and what she has put herself through. She is a profile in publicity and controversy and a whirlwind roller coaster of, bewilderment, amazement, excitement, and everything else. Like, she really just hits all the different parts of the emotional spectrum. It's really incredible. Anyway, so next week, like I said, I will have Amanda Black, that will be appearing with me on the program, a special interview on the Global Travel Network that we talked about. We'll have that. Again, it's the Solo Female Network. And you'll find out all about that next week on the program. So enjoy it. And as we embark on Christmas coming up next week, I hope that, ladies, if you do get that good Christmas present from your significant other, and, maybe a gift card isn't so much of the appreciation that they need, or maybe they don't need anything where, just a hug and a kiss. Maybe there's something a little more you can provide to show appreciation for what you get for Christmas. Something a little more depraved and debaucherous.